What's going on, Internet? Brandon here with...
Hi, I'm Dakota.
Welcome to Nerd Alert.
Thank you.
So this weekend, we are both fortunate enough to live in Las Vegas, which gives us a few good things here and there. And we just went to when we were young.
Yes.
All right. So thoughts, comments, opinions?
So I had tickets to the first day last year.
So as did I. I won them through a contest, and I guess neither of us attended last year.
No. So just based on the fact that I got in the doors this year, that's a win. So that's positive.
Yes.
Glad I got to get in there. Busy, lots of people, but it seems like it was run smoother this year than what I've heard from last year, at least.
My initial thoughts getting in, I lived and died for Warped Tour. Initially entering the venue and finally getting to walk around, see the size, it just felt like a much larger Warped Tour, which like I said, I lived and died for Warped Tour throughout high school, and man, adding 20 years of that, or 15 years, and my patience to deal with crowds. So it was like Warped Tour, but bigger, and I had less patience for people. So that was a little, and just hot as shit.
Yeah.
Man, it was so hot yesterday.
Yeah. So
at the end of October.
Right? I mean, I also lived and died Warped Tour. I went to 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah, there wasn't a year, there were very few years I missed.
Right.
In Vegas.
So I live in Arizona now, and I attended Warped Tour in Phoenix.
Which is probably the hottest anything's ever been in your whole life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've experienced Warped Tours at 117 degrees. Mm-hmm. So the 91 yesterday didn't bug me as much.
I don't go out much anymore, so I was just God, I forgot what it is just sitting here in the sun.
Right.
Right. But yes, it could have been hotter.
Could have been.
I remember standing in a parking lot for Warped Tour and remember being holy crap, my feet are actually burning because we're standing on asphalt.
Right, through the bottom of your pants.
100%. Yep, 100%. I can remember that actual feeling. So, wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, but it was hotter than I wanted to be at the end of October.
And also, I do think that they could have shrunk the capacity a little bit, let less people in to make it more bearable, especially given the fact that today they're doing the second day today.
Yeah.
It's not even sold out, so they could have spread it out a little bit more.
That would have been nice.
And then let's talk about the bands.
Okay, let's talk about the bands.
Yeah. Who were you there for?
I was lucky enough to see one of the bands I was there for. Actually, day before Friday, the Movie Life did a show with No Pressure at a Veterans Hall that I got tickets for. I've been a Movie Life fan since high school.
Yep.
They broke up, they've gotten back together, things like that, whatever. So I was so stoked to see that. So, and I missed them Saturday. So glad I got to see that because I would have been upset that I didn't get to see them. I got to see Finch, which was one of my favorite bands from high school.
Yeah.
I missed Thrice.
Okay.
So when we were talking about the setup, there were 4 stages. I think there were 5 last year too. I thought there were 5 stages last year.
I mean,
could be misremembering that info.
I have blacked out everything from last
just
year.
You were so upset.
Sheer trauma. Yeah.
No, I was. I'm a gigantic My Chemical Romance fan. I've seen them 15 times, so I was definitely more stoked for last year than I like. Don't get me wrong, huge Blink fan.
No. So last year, I really wanted to see My Chemical Romance. I wanted to see Paramore, and those are bands that I've never seen because they're bucket list bands. So we were so excited to get in, and we pulled up to the venue in the Uber to the alerts on my phone, of it being canceled.
That's rough.
We were yeah, we're here. Yeah. Oh goodness, it was so bad.
I feel like there was a lot more I wanted to see the first year, but I still So either way, saw Finch. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of bands I wanted to see, but I felt like A, the amount of people, and B, the placement of the 2 sets of stages this year. Getting to a certain point in the evening, you kind of had to just post up and pick.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to sit through a few people I was not a fan of and missed Thrice, who I really wanted to see. Say Anything, who I really wanted to see.
Okay.
There were a few others, but I got to see Sum 41. I never got to see them back in the day,
Right.
so that was pretty cool. And then who did you enjoy?
So
seeing?
so here's what's interesting.
Who did you enjoy seeing?
We were just talking about like the lack of actual generational age gap,
Mhm.
right? Because we're only a couple years apart.
Like
right?
we would have been in high school at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what's so funny is like those bands that you were listing,
Yeah.
they were popular like right before I really got heavy into the scene.
Okay.
Right? So we're talking like 2000 to 2002
Yes.
is when like Finch,
Yes.
Thrice, those bands like
Now see,
blew
those were the bands that helped introduce me into that scene.
right.
But I will say, as a fan of both of those bands, by the time I think it's the album after Artist in the Ambulance for Thrice came out,
Mhm.
did not hit with me, and I think most people, and Finch's second album didn't. So it would make sense that if you were getting into that even a few years later, you missed that boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my boom was Yellow Card, was Good Charlotte, and I had never seen Good Charlotte, and they're like one of my favorite bands of all time. The Young and the Hopeless was like a defining record for me,
Yeah.
and Ocean Avenue by Yellow Card is my favorite record of all time, like front to back. And I've seen them probably like 15 times, and I will never miss them.
I have seen Yellow Card and Good Charlotte a few times.
Okay.
I will say, with the bands that I got into, I took a heavier direction. And although I am a pop punk fan, there was a lot of bands at that time, Good Charlotte and Yellow Card, that did not click with the direction I was going in. So I never. There's probably a picture of me somewhere in a Yellow Card shirt because I did see them before and probably just grab stuff, but they were not one that I was ever into.
So it's interesting that you said that because I I feel like we may have gone like along the same path, like just like parallel paths, just
Yeah.
at a different time. Because I went a lot heavier too,
Really?
but it was at a different time. You know,
It was
what I
a
mean?
few years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
All Time Low, like bands that were there yesterday. I think I saw it was the Academy Is there yesterday. It's like the Academy Is, All Time Low. There were a few others that like I did not like in high school,
Right.
because they were they were softer, and it wasn't as much as like the heavier shit I was getting into.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. This nostalgia boom is weird to me.
So strange.
Because like, one, you've never seen anything like this. Like our parents didn't have this nostalgia boom of festivals and shit. Like this is unique to us and the time we're living in.
Right. Thank you, social media.
Yeah. No, literally.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that's what this came from, is people just being like, oh my God, do you remember, like, oh, it was so cool. Like, nostalgia used to be like a classified mental illness, right? Like, you know that?
I didn't.
I'm being 100% serious. Like, being nostalgic used to be like a diagnosed disease that now we just all dive into because of the internet and all these things we remember and post and things like that.
Diagnose me, I guess.
No, I swear to God, like it's really wild. But like, more specific last year than this year with some of the bands, it just feels weird to me. Like there are bands we both still like, obviously, that aged with us.
Yeah.
There are bands and albums that I do not feel hold up to modern day stuff.
Right.
And it's even weirder to think back that when we were in our teens, we were listening to dudes in their 20s sing about girls in their teens. And now we're in our 30s while they're in their 50s singing songs about girl problems in high school that just didn't age as well with me. That's my biggest thing with the whole.
It's a lot of very cancelable content.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the bands got canceled. Lost Prophet. Well, I mean, he's in jail, but Brand New got canceled. A lot of that stuff comes out. So.
And I mean, I handle a lot of like music related stuff on social media, and people always ask me to do content with these bands that have all these issues, and Brand New is like one of the big ones.
Oh no!
And I'm like, I am so like hands off with that. I will not touch it.
Like, why would I want to put my name on that, especially with all that going on?
Exactly. Yeah. So, all in all, how did you feel about your experience with the festival yesterday?
I'm glad I got to see a certain thing. It was cool to see Blink again. That was something that I did not think I'd get to kind of see. Offspring, it was always cool. I kind of gave them a harder time, and then seeing them live, I was like they have a lot of like really classic ass songs. Like that's
Yeah.
like a classic punk band now.
Right,
Like, that is.
I think I didn't realize how many Offspring songs I actually knew.
There's that part of
You
it too.
know?
Like there were a few bands that were playing that I was like, oh, like I do remember this.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on this for the fun we both had and the not fun maybe I just
Oh.
had or you didn't have. We did agree that Jared Leto sucks.
He's the worst.
And 30 Seconds to Mars sucks.
Man.
And man, I like watching him. I'm just like, what a fucking asshole. I can't stand that guy.
So I have been a Jared Leto and 30 Seconds to Mars hater for so long.
So have I. Like,
Uh.
like even back when that stuff came out, I was like, this ain't my shit.
Yeah.
And as he progressed, like he just like he was fucking shit was. I said to somebody yesterday, I said, watching 30 Seconds to Mars play and like that's what our grandparents were afraid was like going to happen to America. Like
Yes.
I literally feel like if you were to roll up a surly like World War II vet to that yesterday, he would have been like, Jesus Christ, this country's going to hell. Like, look at it. Look at what's happening right now in front of my eyes. Like that's 100% what I got from that yesterday.
See, and then he obviously has done a lot of like acting gigs too, right?
Yeah,
Like
he's a great actor.
So he did the stuff with Fight Club, that was cool. He did the stuff in American Psycho, that was cool. And then he started graduating into bigger roles, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He did
Like I
that
said, he's a great actor, proven. He won an Academy Award.
right for that movie with
Dallas
Matthew
Buyers
McConaughey.
Club. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he was great in that.
Great in that.
He
and
just happens to be an asshole.
And then he did Suicide Squad. And
I hate it. I hate it. He's the worst Joker all fucking time.
of all time.
All time.
All time. And then he did all like he dove into it to be all extra edgy.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
was
no,
doing
it
all
sucked.
The
It was,
gross stuff behind the
yeah.
scenes, and then he had all of like 30 seconds of screen time
yeah.
for all the stuff. he
And
was
you're like, and it
doing.
was a bad 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that just like solidified my feelings towards
Yeah,
him.
100%.
of, like,
That was the nail in the
I
coffin.
can't do it. I can't do it with him.
Before we end this segment, with the bands, you missed the first year, but the bands we saw this year,
Yes.
even like some of the smaller ones that you might get excited for, things like that, they're probably going to announce in the next day or two. Any dream people posting or showing up next year that you would hope to see?
Oh man. So again, like I've never seen My Chem.
Okay,
I've
so
never
maybe a
seen-
return.
I've never seen Paramore. So those are like two big ones.
Maybe they just do an A year and a B year every year, and we see the same.
Right. Right. So like obviously they went really heavy pop punk this year,
Mhm.
which was great because
Yes.
I got to see a few of my bucket list bands that were on that list,
who
like
were
the Good Charlotte,
Mhm.
Sum 41 I had never seen. I think those are the big two because Green Day saw the beginning of the Green Day set, which
Yeah.
is cool. I'd never seen them before.
me neither. That was the first time.
Right. So that was cool. But Green Day's going on tour. They announced, so that
Maybe
should-
we'll get like another chance to see him and not a.
in not a festival
Yeah,
setting, like maybe a
exactly.
smaller venue setting.
Fingers
They'll
crossed.
probably play like pavilions and arenas. And
Oh, I'm
things
sure.
Like that,
I'm
where
sure. Yeah.
I can be comfortable and sit down and not kill my ankles and knees.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my god. Dude, there's been a standing hurt yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Bucket list bands for next year for you.
there's a band that I don't think we'll ever get back together for something like this, but Set Your Goals was maybe my favorite pop punk band
Set Your
growing up.
Goals would be cool.
The most fun I had was at Set Your Goal shows, and
Yeah.
I would just love to see them one more time.
Dude, the whole like pop punk dual vocalist thing that they had going on.
Oh
was
yeah,
really,
Set Your
really
Goals
cool.
was fucking fun.
I would love to see a little bit more of the hardcore scene fall into
I would
Fun.
be down for a heavier
Yeah.
grouping.
like I would love to see like some like bigger hardcore bands come out for it. I would love to see like Rotting Out. I would love to see Harm's Way, Stick to Your Guns. Like those
Yeah.
bands coming out for it would be really, really cool too.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, all in all, positive experience.
Yeah.
But till next year.